Hello ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a great day and welcome to the Tundra Dude 34 YouTube channel. So today we're going to do a little update. I've now owned this double cab SR5 for 3 months, so I wanted to keep you up to date on some of the things I like and dislike about this truck in the first 3 months of ownership. I did a 1 month update, this is 3, and the next one will be 6, all right? So a few things have changed. I have found some things I don't necessarily love about this double cab that I want to talk to you about, and I hope you'll go down in the comments below and let me know what you think, whether you are an owner of a Crewmax or a double cab, old generation or new generation. I like to hear about everything. Now, just a quick backstory in case you're new to the channel. I got this 2023 in the beginning of April. It is an SR5 double cab with the TRD off-road package, but it also has the 20-inch TRD wheels from the 1794 Unlimited. This thing was fully loaded, pretty much as decked out as you could get a double cab SR5. The sticker price of this was just over $57,000, 57 and change. So it has the premium audio package, soft text, heated seats, power folding mirrors. It has pretty much everything you could get on an SR5 double cab. I am coming from a 2022 TRD Pro. Why did I get out of the TRD Pro? It just became kind of unaffordable month to month. At first I thought I could make it happen, no problem, but it was just too much money. Being real with you, it was too much money. And going from the TRD Pro to this, I was able to save about $209 to $210 a month in a monthly payment, switching vehicle to vehicle, no money out of pocket, because the TRD Pro holds their value so well, thank God. So I was able to get into a very good car payment with this, and that was the whole reason we did it. In the first 3 months of ownership, we took it on a pump-to-pump calculation. It was about 170 miles going up into the Pocono Mountains, and that pump-to-pump calculation was about 21 mpg. So the regular I-Force with the double cab really was impressive, and I did that same run in my I-Force Max TRD Pro. I believe it got somewhere around 17 to 18, so we got a little bit better with this vehicle than the I-Force Max. But let's get to some of the things we like and dislike about this truck. I made some notes in my phone here. We will go with all the pros and then the couple cons. There's not a lot of cons, but I do have to say something that a lot of you will certainly laugh at if you've been around the channel for a while. All right, so pro number one is excellent packaging. I've said this on my dealer walks. I say this all the time. I love that in the new generation, you can get the SR5 in many different ways. If you want the fabric seats, you could get the fabric seats. If you want the soft text, you could do the soft text without getting, say, the big screen like the premium audio package, without getting, you know, all these different packages you don't want. Or you could get it decked out like this one is, where it has the blind spot monitoring, the parking sensors, the 360 camera. There's a lot of ways you can get your SR5 nowadays, and this is a perfect example. I love that coming from the TRD Pro to this, I was worried I wasn't going to be a big fan because I'm coming from all of the amenities that that truck had to this, but this doesn't even feel different. I lost ventilated seats. I don't have JBL sound system. There's no pano roof. It's all okay to me. The sound system is fine. It does great work. I'm happy with everything in here. So the packaging in here, I'm a huge fan of. This has a lot of luxury in it for just being an SR5. And if you've been in the Tundra line for a long time, the SR5 doesn't usually have a lot of luxury, so that is very cool. So number one for me has got to be, you know, just the way this thing is packaged out. I don't feel like I took a step down coming from a TRD Pro back to an SR5. Have to shout out, I did in the first month update video, and I will again, and probably again in the 6 month video, how comfortable these seats are. Great bolstering. I don't feel like, you know, when I'm in a long ride or something, I don't feel like I'm sitting too long and I have to get out and stretch. These seats are very, very comfortable. They hold you into the seat very, very well. You sit down into the seat a lot more than last generation, in my opinion. I don't feel like I'm sliding all over the place. Great bolstering on the sides. So I have to shout out how great these seats are. And it's the same way, whether it's fabric or soft text or the genuine leather when you get up into the good trims like the 1794 Platinum and Capstone. The great thing is it's just the design of the seat, not necessarily the material that is on the outside. So that's a good thing. The driving experience is top notch. You know, one thing I was saying for a while was, once again, coming from that I-Force Max Hybrid into this regular I-Force, I was afraid I wasn't going to be super happy, but this truck gets down the road just fine. And even in last generation, I always used to say, when the double cab body is on the truck, It just feels like it's a little more nimble, handles a little better, and feels a little quicker. Please remember, this is a lot smaller of a cab, so it's not a big sail sitting up in the wind. It just feels like it gets down the road super smooth. 10-speed automatic transmission is perfect for this truck. You don't feel it shifting. It gets the job done. The engine has plenty of power. Once again, I want to keep bringing this up because a lot of people will give you updates in ownership, but coming from a TRD Pro iForce Max to this, I feel like I could give you a unique angle on this. I was afraid that the power wouldn't be great in this versus that hybrid, but this thing gets down the road just fine. It's fast when you want it to be. It does the job very well. So if you are in between where you want to go and you're trying to save a little money and you don't want to get that iForce Max, the regular iForce is available in all of the trims except TRD Pro and Capstone. You have to get the iForce Max with that, but in all the other trims, you can get the iForce, so keep that in mind. I will say, just small little point here, if you do get the SR, it's the iForce, but it's a detuned iForce, just so you know. But if you're in between and you have the option to test drive both, do so. You will definitely feel the iForce Max is faster, but this does get the job done. The braking is great, the handling is great, the shifting is great. When you slow down, when you're on a road somewhere and you're going 55 miles an hour and you have to slow down to 35 real quick and get back up to speed, the transmission doesn't get lost. It's just a great driving experience all the way around. I was very impressed when I got into this truck. The truck feels solid. If you look at some of the complaints when the 2022 came out, there was people were talking about wind sound coming in the windows. When the windows are up, you could hear the wind, plastic creaking, stuff breaking. I haven't dealt with any of that, and I've really been scrutinizing things, trying to find what people are talking about. I just feel like, being this is a 2023, they knocked out a lot of their mistakes in 2022, and we're seeing a lot better of a truck as we go on through the model years, which is a great thing. But I don't feel like it's cheap in here at all, especially coming from a TRD Pro, which had a lot more soft touch going on. Sure, there's a lot of plastic in here, but it's not something that looks cheap or feels cheap. So please keep that in mind. If you are shopping for your truck, you will see some plastic, but no creaking, no rattling. There's soft touch some places, just not as much as the upper trim, but so far, so good with that. I also love, and I've come to love this quite a bit, the 360 camera options, okay? One of the cameras, you can actually look into the bed of your truck. So say you're hauling something or you got a loaded up bed and you want to make sure it's still secure, you can do that. You could even look at your trailer hitch to make sure your trailer is still secure and everything is attached correctly. I've used this truck quite a few times to bring stuff to the dump. We're doing a little home remodel on the inside, so I've been taking trips to the dump, filling this bed up nicely. But the peace of mind for me is that I can turn that camera on and make sure everything is secured, not blowing out of the truck, not hanging out of the truck. And that has been a great thing. And this is a double cab. I have the 6.5 foot bed, so I'm able to take less trips to the dump, because the way it works around here is you can only take a certain amount of trips per month to the dump. So the 6.5 foot bed definitely helps that, because with the 5.5 foot bed, I wouldn't be able to take as much stuff. But the camera is amazing. 360 camera bird's eye view is amazing, and definitely helps with things like when you're loaded up in the bed, and especially when you're trailering something down the road. So I had to shout that out as a huge pro with using that option quite a bit when hauling all this crazy stuff to the dump. And last but not least, on the pro list, I had to mention it, I love the fact, coming from the TRD Pro that has the auto leveling headlights, coming back down to an SR5, this has the old school manual dial where you can manually adjust your headlights. So if you're towing or hauling and your beams come up and they're blinding people, you can actually hit the dial and bring those lights down a little bit. I had them automatically in the TRD Pro. They were still a little bright and aimed into a lot of drivers' rear view mirrors and into their back windows. I love the fact that the dial is back, because I can control that myself, and it's good for peace of mind and safety. But I'm much more of a fan of being able to do it myself. If you have an old generation Tundra, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because that dial has been there for a very long time. In the new gen, if you're in the low stuff like this SR5, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the high end, limited and up, you know all about those auto leveling premium headlights that do it for you. And it's not terrible. I mean, they're great that they do it by themselves and they continually adjust. But I still like the idea of being able to do it myself with the dial. All right, I have 3 cons, and I'm saving the best for last, the main event. The first one has to do with the AC, and it's not just the Tundra, because in my wife's 2023 Highlander, it does this too. So right now I have the AC on, no problem. If I shut the truck off, go do something for 5 minutes, come back, and turn the truck back on, the AC is off. It doesn't stay on. You have to turn it on every time you get in the truck. I know it's a small thing, but why? I was driving down the road probably like a month ago, and the AC was on, stopped the truck, got out, did what I had to do, came back in, I'm driving down the road, and I'm like, why is this thing blowing hot air? And I started to think about what people say on some of the forums, that the AC isn't very cold, and I thought I was having that problem, but my AC was off. So I gotta call that a con. I don't understand why that happens in any vehicle. If someone wants to enlighten me, I'm ready to listen. Toyota Connected Services, okay? So a lot of you know when you get a new Tundra, you have a trial, and it depends on what part of it we're talking about, how long the trial is. There's things for 3 years, there's things for 10 years. You know, as far as your free trial goes, remote start, things like that, navigation, all of that. I like that that comes free. I like that you get a trial with it. My one issue is, you know, there's a feature on there that talks about how, hey, are you cool with us looking at all of your driving habits, your harsh braking, your hard accelerations, driver score stuff? Not a fan of that. Now, at first when I got this truck, I said no to connected services, but it was no to connected services to the point where my remote start wouldn't even work. And I know, we know the key sequence, in case you don't know and don't know if you have remote start, you could try this. You hit lock twice, and on the 3rd time, hold it down. And you will see the lights flicker, and then auto start the truck, remote start the truck. That wouldn't even work on mine, all right? So usually, even when you don't sign up for connected services, you could still get it to do it. Well, this truck didn't do it. So I signed up for connected services to get the remote start to work, but I had to sign up for everything. So I'm not a huge fan of that, because I don't really like all of the extra stuff like that. I like the app and I like the remote start, but I don't need people to be looking in on how I'm driving and stuff like that. And that's just me. That's the old school me. So I'm not a huge fan of having to sign up for every single trial just to get what I want in connected services. The thing that I'm putting as a con right now, and it has to be the back seat. And a lot of you guys have told me I wouldn't like the double cab because the back seat is so small, and you're quite right. I don't usually have backseat passengers, which is why I thought it would be cool to get this truck. Number one, no one has a double cab on YouTube, so I figured it would be, hey, let's try something no one else has. Everyone has the Crew Max. That's number one. Number two, I never really use my back seat, but the difference between when I bought the truck and 3 months later right now is the fact that I don't have a back seat when I need it. So every once in a while, when I would have backseat passengers, it would always be there. But now, when I need to have backseat passengers, I don't have that option. And it's actually happened to me a few times to where, for instance, the 4 of us were going to play golf, and we had to take somebody else's vehicle that could fit all 4 people. Now, if this was the TRD Pro I used to have, hop in, let's go. Because we got the bed for all the bags and stuff, and this is the convenient pickup truck vehicle to do all that. So it's more of a situation of, maybe you don't use it all the time, but you have it in case you need it. Kind of like 4-wheel drive. I don't have the back seat anymore. Of course, I could fit some stuff back there. It has some storage under the seats and everything. But one regret, I really do think I should have went Crew Max. But it's an I told you so moment, and I know a lot of you will say that and laugh at me. But yeah, it definitely, when I bought the truck, again, I didn't use the back seat. I don't think I ever had a backseat passenger in the Pro. In the 2022 that I had for about 6 months. So 3 times or so people have needed to hop into this back seat. I made a funny video with my brother. I'm showing you clips from it right now, where we just made a funny short about how the back seat doesn't fit much. My one thing that I do miss, I used to have a double cab. I had a few double cab Tundras in the old gen, and the back seat was just fine. You could fit 3 adults back there, no problem whatsoever. This, it's just not gonna happen. You could move the seat all the way up. I've done a video and I could fit back there, but that's like a short-term situation. And someone who's sitting in the front would have to be very small to fit. But yes, I do miss my back seat a little bit. Like I said, it's one of those, have it when you need it. It's always there for you, waiting in case. Love the truck though, overall. And I can deal without a backseat. We got the Highlander. I have friends with pickup trucks, whatever. But it is something I have to call out. It makes me laugh because a lot of you guys said, you're gonna hate that after a while. I don't hate it, but it definitely is tight in here. A lot of people always wanted that RCSB Tundra for the new gen, the regular cab standard bed. This is pretty much as close as you're gonna get, because that back seat, it's for gear, not for humans. That's the way I feel. But those are the pros and cons of the truck. I absolutely do love the truck. Seriously, the driving experience is so much fun. The double cab always feels a little bit different. Being able to have the 6.5 foot bed again is very convenient. They do make the 6.5 foot bed on the Crew Max now. So if that's something you do want, look into it. It's a long truck, but it does the job. So if you have that big family that you want to have in the truck, awesome. And you got that bed to haul all the stuff you need. But being able to have that bed again and, you know, put some of my sports equipment, our bikes when we go ride our bikes, and all of this crap we're trying to get out of this house right now, it's been a pleasure to have a 6.5 foot bed again and not have to take multiple trips or go buy one of those bed extender things for a 5.5 foot. It's amazing how much that one extra foot in the bed makes all the difference in the world. But I thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me some pros and cons on your new generation Tundra. Any double cab owners out there? I'd love to hear what you think. But until next time, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at TundraDude34, TundraDude34 @gmail.com. You guys have a great day. Be safe and be well.